Alright, so let's begin this 5 months wrap up because I don't know how to count and somehow I forgot all the months that happened in this year and that I just didn't make a wrap up video for those months. I'm sorry. So we are going to start with June. That is how far we've come, people. This is, yeah. In June, I read King's Cage and Warstorm, the third and fourth books in the Red Queen series. This one I gave 4 stars, and Warstorm I think I gave 4 or 4.5. I cannot remember for the life of me, but somewhere along the lines. I cannot really talk about these books if you haven't read Red Queen or Glass Sword, but I will say that for those who don't know what Red Queen is about, it's about this fantastical dystopian world where there are 2 races. There are the Reds and the Silvers. So the Reds are people who have red blood, and the Silvers are obviously the one who have silver blood. The Silvers have superpower, a little bit like X-Men, superpower like they can teleport, read minds, control water, that kind of stuff. And in this world, well, of course, the oppressed or the Reds and the Silvers are living as kings, queens, rich people. And we follow this girl called Mare, who is a Red, but discovers that she has powers. So of course, the Silvers try to contain the news and disguise her as a lost princess silver stuff from a faraway land. And so she finds herself surrounded by Silvers, and she has to try to survive, basically. And that is the end of June. How quickly did we get into that? Because these books were so thick. So it took me a very long time to just read them. So June, I only read 2 books. In July, I read 3 books and 4 graphic novels. I read Cinder, Scarlet, and Crest from the Lunar Chronicle by Marissa Meyer. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't say Red Queen is written by Victoria Aveyard. Sorry. These books I gave all 5 stars because they were amazing. And if you want to know more about this series, just go and check out my review, because I made a series review. So it's a very long video, but I'm talking about the 4 books. The 4 graphic novels that I read are the Wicked and the Divine series. I read the first 4 volumes, and this series was written by Gillian McKelvey, Wilson, and Coles, and this was amazing. I loved it so much. I read these graphic novels in between the Lunar Chronicle books because I didn't want to read them too fast and get bored. So I read these ones, and it's a strange story. Let me just start with that. You don't get a great summary. It just says that every 90 years, 12 gods return as young people, and they just do stuff, do magic, and people are like in a trance, I would say. They're like so enchanted by them, and we don't really know why. So it's kind of weird, but we follow this girl who dreams of meeting these gods, and that's pretty much it. So we follow her as she tries to follow the gods and meet them and talk to them, and a lot of stuff happens. There are murders, and the gods are accused of the murder even though it wasn't them who did the murder. So a lot of stuff happens in this graphic novels, and the graphics are really interesting. I really love. It's a very, I don't know how you would say that. It's a basic style of comic, but you get these kind of images which are awesome. So it's a whole thing, and I have the 5th volume with me, and I still haven't read it, so I don't know what's happening in my brain. I forgot about them. I don't know what happened, but I will most likely read this next volume very soon because it's the following story. So I don't know why I stopped reading them. In August, I only read one book. I don't know why. It's a whole thing. I don't know what happened. It just happened. I finished reading the Lunar Chronicles, so I read Winter. And I think the reason why it took me so long to read, it was because it was 800 pages. This was a thick-ass book, and I don't know, I loved the series. I still love the series, but I think it just was too big for me to just finish in a week. Yeah, I don't have any more excuse, so I don't know. For September, I read 2 books, which is pretty good considering that I got back to university. So that means that I had way less time to read and to just do nothing, because now I have school, so I have exams, so I have to study, I have homework, I have assignments, I have projects. You get all the nice stuff that you get when you go back to school, so that's a fun time. And so I read The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F by Mark Manson. I have talked about this book for so long on this channel because I have talked about this book in almost all of my vlogs, not all of my vlogs, but a lot of my vlogs. So this is awesome. I love this book so much. I'm currently reading the other one he just published, which is Everything is Effed, I believe, a book about hope. I'm pretty excited. This one was so good. I'm going to make a review very, very soon. I'm just trying to think how I'm going to make this review because this is a non-fiction book. I don't make a lot of reviews about non-fiction, so I have to see which angle I want to take because it's a very unique book and I want to talk about it as much as I can because it was awesome. The second book that I read was Furthermore by Tahira Mafi, and this is the first book in the Furthermore duology, and I, oh my god, love this book so much. This is a middle grade book about this girl named Alice. So it is based on Alice's adventures in Wonderland, but not at all the same story. So we have like the base of the Alice's Adventures in Wonderland story put in this book, but in a whole new world and dynamics and characters. So it's not the same, but you get sometimes some references from the original story. In this book, we follow this girl named Alice, who is a 12-year-old girl who has no color. She is completely white from head to toes. She lives in this world, well, in this village called Farrenwood, where everything about the village is color and magic. So everybody has magic, not every person has the same power, and there are very odd powers, I would say. So this one guy has the power of persuasion, another one has the power to just shatter stuff and bring it back together with the snap of the finger. I don't know how this works, it's just a bunch of powers, and Alice has none. Alice's father has been missing for a few years now, and she tries to find him back with the help of an unlikely friend because she doesn't really consider him as a friend. But Alice goes with Oliver into Furthermore, which is a land where supposedly up is down, down is up, everything is mixed up. So this reminds us a bit of Wonderland. I give this book a full 5 stars because, well, first of all, this is Tahira Mafi's work, so it's perfect. I will make a review very soon about this book, and so you will be able to know what I thought in more details and what I thought about the spoilers of this book. So stay tuned for that. And finally, we have arrived in October. I know it's November now, but like I won't be making a wrap up of November since we're currently in the middle of November, so just bear with me. In October, I read Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. This is the sequel to Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and it was okay. I was expecting so much more to happen, but somehow it was just a lot of singing, a lot of poetry, and a lot of dreaming. So I was expecting more of an adventure, but anyways, I give this book 3.5 out of 5 stars, but Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, the original one, will still always be in my top favorite books of all time, just not that second one. I read Find Me by Tahira Mafi, so there was a little bit of a Tahira Mafi strand going on, but what do you want me to do? She's my favorite author of all time and I will never deny it. Ever. So this is the combination of the two novellas, Shadow Me and Reveal Me, both from Kenji's point of views in the Shadow Me series. So Shadow Me is during the 4th book, Restore Me, during the ending, and Reveal Me is right after the 5th book, Defy Me. So Shadow Me is a new perspective from a story we already know, and Reveal Me is a whole new story that I was so excited to read. Yeah. Of course, I gave this book, well, these books 5 out of 5 stars because it was Kenji's point of view. He's the most hilarious character in the entire, well, not cast, but characters of the Shadow Me universe. And getting his point of view on things was so hilarious. He can always think of something funny even in a very desperate situation. And that is hilarious as hell. That was it, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I'm sorry. I will be more consistent for the next wrap-ups. I'm really sorry. I will probably do a 2-month wrap-up, end of the year wrap-up for the next one, since we have only November and December left. And I will most likely only read 2 books in November, so I'm not sure that a 2 books wrap-up is very interesting, but if I get at least 3 or 4 books, I will make a monthly wrap-up, or else I will try to do at least a 2-month wrap-up because 5 months is crazy and I don't have the time to film and edit all of this. So I will see you guys next time with a new video. Goodbye.
A few inches later.
Oh, I forgot to put the mic on. Well, I'm sorry.